Hello, beautiful beings. Today we're gonna make some crystal scrunchies, and you may be thinking like, oh my god, what? This is just a random video. But okay, since I'm preaching about what we should do more things that make us happy, so I'm posting a video that makes me happy, which is crafts DIY. So let's begin. By the way, this is not my idea, but I saw this on TikTok so long ago, so I thought it'd be cool to make. So guys, I have all the materials that we need to make these crystal scrunchies, so let's begin. You'll need your fabrics, and this can be like, you can use any fabric you want, whatever you think will hold the crystals inside and not like kind of fall through. So this is just some extra material that's cut off from like a pair of pants, which is what I recommend, like using an old t-shirt or using like something that you don't want to wear anymore, of course, and cropping it so it's easier to make the scrunchie because it's already like. Next, I recommend having a elastic or rubber band, unless you want to use like real elastic, like the elastic you have to like sew around and cut up. You know, we're trying to make things easy, so I would just recommend like a plain, like it doesn't have to be like any specific color, just something that you know fits your hair nicely and just tightly. So yeah, basically you need like needle and thread because we're gonna sew. And if you want to use the hot glue method, you could use that as well. I have like a video showing 3 ways how to make scrunchies. I'll link that. One of the main way is sewing, which I think is a little bit more secure, and if you want to wash the scrunchie, you could if you sew it, and if you hot glue it, it's not really gonna work. So you can use hot glue for this method as well. Now that we have the fun part, which are the crystals. So this is like a prosperity package I got from the crystal shop, and it includes citrine, pyrite, and green aventurine, all good for prosperity. So for crystals, whatever you want to attract, whatever you want to like focus your scrunchie to be, you can literally make so many and have like a different crystal in each, which is perfect. So you can pick whatever you want, whatever crystal. It doesn't have to be, so these are just like small, very small pieces of it, like little shards of them, but you can just use like a whole piece. It doesn't have to be extremely tiny like these are. So just make sure it's not so big that like when you wear the scrunchie you can like literally like it kind of bothers your head a little bit. Like that would not be great. So I recommend having a smaller piece, and I might just use like a mix of 3, honestly. Okay, so I have, this is my aventurine, this is pyrite, the citrine out. I'm gonna mix all 3 of them together and put them in this bowl to see how much I want to put in my one scrunchie. And also, yeah, we're gonna cleanse these crystals because we don't know what they come from, and we're gonna charge them with our own intentions and own energy of what we want these crystals to accomplish for us, because yes. Now I recommend fully cleansing them with incense, with Palo Santos, whatever. That's what I had on hand, but I would not use that next time because it's endangered, and I'm just cleansing it and with the intention in mind of what I want my crystals to absorb and what energy and intention they should emanate. To begin, you're going to take a pair of scissors and cut your fabric in half where the seam is folded. So if you cut like a t-shirt, it's already gonna be like glued together, so you just have to like cut that so you can just spread it out. I just trim like the width of the fabric, which I shouldn't have done because the longer it is, the more scrunchier your scrunchie will be. So now make sure that your fabric is facing the good side up, not the bad side up. And you're gonna take your elastic, your rubber band, whatever you want to use, and you're gonna have the 2 edges meet together, and that's where you start your sewing. So you're gonna have both the edges, make sure they line up neatly and properly, and you're going to just follow the edges, and that's where you're going to sew. So take your needle and thread. I doubled the thread, so basically taking the amount that I will use and just like overlapping on top of each other and then making the knot. It makes the stitches more stronger and sturdier rather than having a single thread weave through. And if you want to make a sturdy knot as well, I will link a video down below which helped me so much. It's literally like a hack, and you don't have to just like physically tie it with your hands. It's like a cool trick you just wrap around the needle and then you pull through the knot, and it makes a really sturdy knot. Make sure that you are making the stitches so close to each other, as close as you can, or like as neat as you can. Don't really try to spread them too far apart, especially if you know, if you know how to sew, then you probably already know that, but it's because you don't want any holes or any gaps in between. You want the fabric to be as closely sewn, stitched together as possible. So especially if you're using small crystals like me, you don't want them to fall through like that, because and if you're using like a thicker fabric, it's less likely they'll fall through anyway. So just be careful and know what you're doing. I will not lie, guys, I'm not the best at sewing, but you know what, I'm having fun and I want to have a crystal scrunchie. And yeah, I have sewn a couple of like plushies or whatever before, but you know, I'm learning on YouTube. I love this is fun for me, and I hope you guys are enjoying this too. And let me know if you guys make this scrunchie in the comments below, or if you guys have better ideas and tips on how to make it stronger. But yeah, guys, make sure you're making your stitches like very close to each other, because if you're using like crystal pieces like I am, like those really tiny ones, you don't want them to like fall through this. So make sure this is very tight and neat. You know, we're almost done here. Like, look, we just gotta match these up. I kind of cut the piece, like I thought this would be like too scrunchy, like too much fabric, so I kind of cut, oh, where is it? No, I kind of cut some pieces off, like a smaller piece off, and yeah, maybe I shouldn't have done that, but it's okay. We're all good. It still looks very fluffy, and I love this material. It's so nice. It's so fluffy. And most of the scrunchies I make are either like I crochet them. Crochet is so fun, guys. You guys should definitely make a crochet scrunchie if, I don't know. We're having fun and we're doing what we like. Even though if we're not really good at it, we'll get better. We know we'll get better. We're not trying to give up. And look, okay, so I sewed all the edges. Make sure you leave this pocket open, okay? Because we're going to turn it inside out, okay, guys? So I want to quickly show you guys how it's supposed to look as you sew around the scrunchie. So you're supposed to make sure that the edges line up, and you're going to be like sewing back and forth, back and forth. It's not like a special stitch. It's very simple. If you know a better stitch, if you know a stronger stitch, do that. But we're just doing a simple stitch here, and you can just see close up how I do it. So I just want to make sure you guys know, for those that have never really sewn anything before. Okay, after you're done sewing all around, you will be turning it inside out, because we don't want the bad edges showing on the outside. So we're just going to turn it around for a more cleaner, neater look. Yeah, and make sure you have that little pocket opening, so you don't sew that all the way down across. You just sew on the top parts, because, you know, we want to flip it inside out. And make sure you take out the sewing thread, so just create like a small knot, and so that doesn't get in the way. Okay, now for the fun part where we're gonna add the crystals inside. Make sure that all your edges are like very neatly sewn, and there's no like gaps or spaces in between. Like, luckily if you're using like a thicker fabric, it's, you know, it's gonna be easier, so there won't be that as many gaps. But if you're using like a very thinner fabric, which I don't recommend for this type of scrunchie, for this like crystal scrunchie, you really don't want to use the little pieces of crystals. Okay, so now we have to figure out how we're gonna put this inside. We could use like a funnel, which would be best. So I don't really have a funnel, but I'll be using my hands. And I'll visualize, like, you know, my intentions and affirmations as and honestly, I think I'm adding way too many crystals inside, so I might just use half of this mixture and save it for another crystal scrunchie I'll make. That's what I'll do, because I feel like this is kind of way too much. Yeah, it doesn't really depend on the size of the crystal, as long as you have your pure intentions and set. But I just don't want to make it too uncomfortable with the crystals in here. Okay, so the crystals are in here, and it feels so nice. Like, I love this texture, like everything, it's so perfect. Okay, I keep adding more, but I think that's enough. So to close up the scrunchie, I would just try to, it's a bit hard to explain, we're just gonna like try to close it internally so the seam doesn't really show on the outside. So you're kind of just gonna take the fabric from the inside and loop it through and connect it with the other one. So I'll just do this off camera, since it's a bit harder to do in this angle. Okay, and this part is important because you don't want the crystals falling through between the seams, so make sure you double check to see it's all tightly closed. And after that, you can just cut off your thread, and then you're done. I like making crafts, and I wanted to infuse spirituality into them, so I'm going to tell you different ways you can use this crystal scrunchie. So first of all, yes, you can put it in your hair, you can wear it on your wrist all the time, and you can place a placebo effect on top of the scrunchie. And you can do this with any object, by the way. It doesn't have to be just a scrunchie, okay? If you don't like those, you can say that every time you wear the scrunchie, you receive $1,000. Every time I wear this scrunchie, I attract amazing opportunities that will change my life. Every time I wear this scrunchie, I always attract my manifestation. So you can infuse in a placebo effect, attention, and affirmation that every time you wear this, you get exactly what you want. And it could be in the intention that you set on your crystals too. So if you put like adventuring, every time I wear this, I have a really lucky day. And if you like have a rose quartz, you could say, every time I wear this, I'm surrounded by such loving, fun people. Every time I wear this, I love myself so much. Like, based on your crystal, you could just change the placebo effect on how you wear this. I think that's the best way to use it. So every time I wear this scrunchie, I always attract the amazing opportunities, and I see all my desires just come true so fast. So you could put such a strong intention on this that it could literally change your life. A scrunchie could change your life, and you could do this with a jewelry, with a rock, with literally anything. You could think of it and turn that belief into this object so strong. And you can just basically use your energy, because you know your hands are also rechargers. You could put it in the sunlight, you can put it on selenite. There's so many things you can do, and the crystals, you don't have to take them out. And if they don't dissolve in water, like selenite, like you should search up a list of what crystals do dissolve in water. You could even like wash this scrunchie out, and that could also help with cleansing. Anyway, that's all I have for this video. I really hope you found this helpful. I hope you found lots of value in this. Let me know if you decide to make one down below, and thank you for watching. You are enough. You deserve the best. I hope to see you soon.